Hello everyone and welcome. I am Matic, I am a Pokemon TCG player from Slovenia and I like to make deck profiles, and today is no different. We're gonna be looking at the most popular deck of this current format, and that is the Dragapult EX. So let's phantom dive into it. So for our Pokemon we have 4 Drippies, which evolve into 4 Dracloaks, which are the excellent draw engine of this deck. And those Dracloaks also evolve into Dragapult EXs, which are the main attackers with the Phantom Dive attack. For our Pokemon we also have 2 Duskull, which evolve into 2 Dusclops, which can help us reach some of the higher numbers, and if those numbers are not high enough, we still have 1 Dusknoir that helps us clean out some of the bigger Pokemon. We also have 2 Badoo, which help us slow down the game a little bit. For our draw engine we also have the Phazandipiti EX. As a late game attacker we also have the Blood Moon Ursaluna. And to fix some of the math, we also have 1 Hawlucha. For our supporters, we have 4 Iono for hand disruption plus to reset our hand. Speaking of resetting our hand to Professor's Research, we also have 2 Arven, which help us bring the item card and a tool card from our deck into our hand. We have 2 Boss's Orders. We have also 2 Jacques that helps us find 2 evolution Pokemon. For our item cards, we have 4 Buddy Buddy Puffin, which help us find the Drippies and the Duskulls. We have 4 Ultra Ball that help us find the Dracloaks and the Dragapults. And once we have something as in Pokemon or Energy in our discard, we have 3 Night Stretcher to get them back. We also have 3 Counter Catcher to gust up opponent's Pokemon once we're behind in prizes. We have 1 Nest Ball to get some of the bigger basics on our bench. 1 Earthen Vessel to get 2 energies from our deck. 1 Rare Candy to skip 1 evolution. 1 Switch, which is kind of self-explanatory. And as the ace pack of choice, we have the Unfair Stamp. For our Pokemon tool cards, we have 1 Rescue Board, which we can attach to our Pokemon to give them less retreat cost. And we have 1 Luxurious Cape, which we can attach to our Drippies and Dracloaks to give them more HP, but reduces the HP back on the Dragapult EX. That's a very interesting tech card. And for the energies, we have 3 basic fire energies. And we also have 3 basic psychic energies. Okay, so talking a little bit about this deck, this is actually the 2nd placed list from Atlanta Regionals this past weekend, and that is actually one of the 2 variants how Dragapult is being played currently. One version is this one with the Dusknoir line, and the other one is without it. The only difference is this one, the Dusknoir line one, is actually, at least in my opinion, a bit more versatile, gives you a bit more edge into some of the chunkier Pokemon, such as Archelodon and such, all of them that are over 300 HP, because the damage output of Dragapult is limited to 200. As opposed to the other variant, the one that doesn't have the Dusknoir line, that one is a bit better in the mirror, it tends to be a bit more consistent, but it struggles against the one of more like chunky Pokemon, like I mentioned before, the Archelodons and the Charizards and such. So, talking a little bit about matchups, in this deck you want to go first, so you can establish a setup, and that you can evolve your Drippies into Dracloaks on turn 2, and on turn 3 evolve one of the Dracloaks into Dragapult, hopefully get enough manual attachments onto them for you to start attacking. And also, if you happen to lose the coin flip and go second, it's not all that bad because we have the Badoo, which helps us slow down the opponent with item lock, so it's not all that bad. And yeah, talking a little bit about the matchups, this variant actually has somewhere between 40 and 50% into the vast majority of the meta. Everything that is being played is kind of 50-50 into this one. Either slightly favored or slightly unfavored against this deck. Except there are two decks that really stand out. One is heavily unfavored for Dragapult and one is heavily favored for Dragapult. And the unfavored one is the Raging Bolt EX. Why is it so unfavored? Well, because we can't one-hit knockout them, but they can one-hit knockout us. The Raging Bolt is extremely fast deck, which gets very high damage outputs very early in the game, which is enough to knock out our Dragapults, the 310 HP with ease. So that one is very, very tough. And on the other hand, Charizard, the most favored one, is actually very good because they tend to rely on the Pidgeot as well. And Pidgeys have exactly 60 HP, which is enough for the Phantom Dive, the damage spread, the damage counters on the bench to knock out those Pidgeys. If you knock out both of their Pidgeys, they're kind of left without the deck search, which is very painful in Charizard. I played it a lot, and it's very pesky to deal with any deck if you don't have the PG or the EX established. So yeah, that's one of the most favored one. But yeah, all in all, this deck is super consistent, it's super cool to play. There are some things that are kind of weird in the Andrew Hedrick's list that I showed you before. First of all, that I would like to mention is that it doesn't have a stadium, which is kind of weird, because it puts you at a liability if your opponent plays neutralization zone. Fortunately for us, there is not that much neutralization zone stadiums played at this moment, so stadium bump is not all that necessary. It feels good to have it, but it's not the worst if you don't. So that's one of the kind of weird things. And another one, the thing that I kind of miss the most in this list is the lack of Crispin. Crispin is an excellent energy acceleration card, and since our ace pack of choice is the unfair stamp, which gives us an unfair advantage into our opponents, the alternative for the ace pack is the Sparkling Crystal, which reduces the cost of Phantom Dive by 1 any energy, which allows us to Phantom Dive way faster. But without it, you kind of want to rely on some sort of energy acceleration in the form of Crispin, which allows you to load up your Dragapult from 0 energies to 2 energies in 1 round, which is really cool, but unfortunately this deck doesn't run it. I don't really miss it that much from my testing with this deck. However, it kind of sometimes feels good to have an option of Crispin. It's not really strictly necessary, but it's more of a feel-good kind of card. So yeah, that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and catch you next time.